because like the thing is, like for your mental health, like we're social creatures, so you really need companionship, whether it's just a friendship, someone to talk to, someone to vent to, someone to relate to. It's just you need something. Everybody does, no matter how introverted you are. So by feeling so alone, it really does make you feel like, am I worthless? I have no value. Why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? And like that feeds into like self harm and like other, obviously, worse things than that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I feel you there. And but that's the thing, when we're seeing all this and we're exploring it from our everyday lives, what do we do? What's a remedy for this?
I think honestly, they could just be like slight practices, like introduce yourself to someone new every day, like one
Yeah,
person a day. Like try to
okay.
just, get outside your like what's causing you to not want to interact with people? Is it social
Yeah.
is it just you have social anxiety? Cuz
Mhm.
like there's groups and people with common interests everywhere. You just have to locate them and find them. And the only way to do that is you might have to crash and burn. The world isn't always nice to you and, that's you have to realize that's okay.
Yeah, and it is. And sometimes, like, you're gonna strike out, right? I mean, we're right now in the World Series, Yankees versus Dodgers, go Dodgers. But sometimes you're gonna put your best weight into a ball, whatever that might be, however you want to put that into perspective, and you're not going to hit that ball all the way. So you're gonna strike out, right? But you have to keep on setting yourself up for that mound and hit that ball. Eventually, you're gonna hit it, and you're gonna hit it with the right person, but you should always let people come to you, develop those relationships before chasing them down. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another reason why, because people are getting beaten down. There's a whole bunch of people out there that are walking wounded, like it's like a battle zone out there, and they just give up. They're like, it's probably just not for me. I'll just probably become a, as JD Vance would put, childless cat lady or cat man. You can be a cat man too, Gigi. Don't you think so? I mean,
Oh yeah, I love cats. I'm a kitty cat guy. You know that.
you are a kitty cat guy, which we got to talk about that. That's kind of anywho.
What?
But with
What?
the
What?
yeah, well, the counterpunch on this, guys, is are we too quick to blame technology? Because everybody will say, "Oh, it's social media. People don't want to get out anymore. They don't want to go to church. They don't want to go to the bars. They don't want to whatever. They want to stay online and see if they can meet someone quicker online because you can either swipe right, swipe left, whatever the case may be." But some argue that tech brings people closer, especially for those who may struggle with in person socialization. But while social media and digital tools have their benefits, they may also breed comparison, making loneliness more acute. Do we need to rethink how we engage with technology? Do you think so, Gigi?
Yeah, I feel like people can be very irresponsible. You can be very heavily influenced by social media, comparing yourself to other people. A lot of times, you want to get that instant gratification because with Google being a thing, if you want to know something, boom, you know it. If you want to watch something, boom, you can watch it. Um,
Right.
there's no real suspense of wait anymore or like gratifying. People like lost that feeling of like success over time. It's
Yeah.
about the journey. So I feel like with technology, like the influence it has on your mental health with again social media. I know I keep touching on it. It's
Yeah.
really
Let's
just
see.
don't compare yourself to other people. Like everyone wants to post a highlight reel of their life. So
Mhm.
like you don't see the downs, you don't see what everyone's going through, and the more people that you meet, the more you might realize like wow, like we're out here struggling. We're all we all have
Yeah.
things that we can relate with, and like through that is just like strength of like union and companionship. Like that's what draws us and brings us together.
Right.
Like
And it's
life.
and you make an excellent point. Continue on. I'm sorry. Mhm.
No, I was saying like life is about like it's not about, but like life is full of suffering, and that's something that draws us together.
Yeah. The suffering part. I mean, I'm like I always would tell people, I'm allergic to a few things. Suffering, hurting myself. I mean, the stuff that is not great about life, we already know. And a lot of people has said that as the loneliness epidemic continues to grow, what's next? Studies suggest that prolonged loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It heightens risk for heart disease, stroke, depression, and anxiety. To break the cycle, fostering authentic, real life connections becomes crucial. Can we reclaim the sense of community that seems lost in the digital age. Like, I lived in my neighborhood for about, well, 4.5 years or so, and I will tell you, I only know maybe 2 of my neighbors, like, and I don't even know their names, I just see them often, and I'm glad that I know them just in case something goes down, but I have even cameras. But I want them on that side of the property line. I don't really want them coming over. I would get freaked out if they knocked on my door and gave me a pie or cookies or some shit like they used to do in the '50s and the '60s. I'd rather them just stay on their side of the and I don't know why that is. Is that built in? And remember, I'm not a Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Plus, or I'm a Gen X, but I'm not a Gen Plus Z guy. So I'm not continually always thinking about the social media and the aspects of online, communities. But it's ingrained in me that, I love being an American, I love being around Americans, but I want the Americans to stay on their borderline, on their side of the property lines. I mean, why is that? Why do I feel that way, do you think? Like, give me some aspects of some realities that you know of. I mean, do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has like a different social like battery limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just like, I'm so tired of dealing with people. Like when you tend to put the weight of the world on your shoulders and like
Yeah.
you're more empathetic, you kind of like get exhausted being around people to some degree.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like it all just comes down to mindset. Like I love being around people because like the thing that fuels me the most is make people laugh, and I
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
make
yeah.
people laugh if I'm not like really around them. So or at least I don't get to experience the same joy. If I send someone a funny text or a meme, it's like one thing, and it's like I felt
Yeah.
good. They might have laughed, but being and laughing with
You
someone in
might have
person, it's just I don't know. It's just a different experience. So,
oh, yeah.
um, it depends on like just how you look at it. Like some people surround themselves with people that like exhaust them more
Yes.
than kind of bring the best out of them.
Right. And that's absolutely true, and the thing is, and I'll tell people all the time if they listen to me, you gotta I mean, what does RuPaul say? I mean, you wouldn't know, but I know. RuPaul says you gotta love yourself before you can love anybody else, and I am so involved in a committed relationship with myself that I don't even want to figure out anybody else or love anyone else because loving me is so much. It really is, and it's draining, and then people have told me, they're like, "Loving you is a lot," but I do love you, but so but with that being said, I think that that feeds itself into loneliness because for me, if unless I know I found the right person, I don't wanna be physically, mentally, or emotionally involved with them whatsoever at all because I feel like I take on a lot of people's negative energies and it drains me out so much that I don't even want to interact with people for days at a time. And I always tell my friends, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a me day for about 2 to 3 days, and I'm not going to need to talk to anybody else. So just give me my time so I can feel through it. You know what I'm saying? And I know, I mean, do you take me days for yourself?
Yeah, you have to like
Yeah.
again like you have to prioritize yourself. Obviously, the thing with that like the thing with it like people like draining you and stuff like that. It's I don't know. It's very easy to take on other people's like problems when a
Right.
lot of people find that they can like dump that on you. But you have to like being able to set the boundaries, and then like those me days are kind of like what those boundaries are. So shut the world off. Hey, this is for me, not for you, type of
Hmm.
thing. And people need to respect that. And the people that don't they need to kind of like weed out of your life. Like you got to weed them out because those are the ones
Yeah.
that are draining you.
That is true, and I mean, and I know that you are a good, sense of people who and so am I. I think we're both empathic in the sense that we take on a lot of other people's negativity, and we try to materialize it and digest it and spew out the goodness of, like, Care Bears all over the place, like, "Care Bear stare, Care Bear stare, Care." But after a while, taking in all that negativity, it just depletes your soul, man, and sometimes it can deplete your emotional standards especially when people cross boundaries. And I know you know about people crossing boundaries and how that turns out. But when people cross those boundaries, they don't realize that you are an emotional being and you are taking in a lot of their negative stuff because everybody always wants to talk to me about their problems and issues, which I'm completely fine with. I love that because I do like to help people. But it does take a load for me to do that because now I've become that person like a sponge that has sucked up all their